So it's showing damp there, and it's about, where are we, about 600 mil, and it's damp around there. The normal floor, there's quite a lot of variation. It's damper there.
Supplying this well, it's no longer supplying it.
Oh, I see, it's quite a lot lower, isn't it?
Yeah.
You would normally have it up to what? There's
Well, you can see where the watermark
there's
was.
the float,
Yeah.
and there's the.
We discovered the well when we were there was a big mound of earth out here, and we decided to build out here, and the
Oh right, so
it came filled right up.
but roughly speaking, that's what probably getting on for 2 meters, probably a tad less than that.
Yeah,
below the level. So you know, basically the point being that even though you've got very high water table here, it's not going to be high enough to cause that dampness over there. Well, 70 litres per second. You only need to be 30. That's a possibility. It's also depends on what's happening on the other side and what height it is.
Well, I'll go and ring George and see when someone's going to be back.
So there is general dampness at the base of the wall across the property.
18 years old at the top.
So that is probably where the chimney breast was.
Right.
I don't think they took out.
How can you tell?
Well, just and is that if so, carbon is a conductor, and you'd expect it to have a high conductance there, but it doesn't. It's the same. Well, this is lower, but suggesting that this isn't actually carbon, and that it's but it does look like soot. See these salts here? There's calcium sulfate salts. They come from the plaster. The old name for calcium sulfate is gypsum, and it's also the name for plaster because it contains mainly calcium sulfate. So what you're seeing all here, these are calcium sulfate salts, and the water is coming from below because we know that because it's discoloured and it's picking up the building material as it moves upwards. The simplest solution is to cut the base of the wall by about 10 to 20 millimetres, and it can be hidden behind the skirting board, and that breaks the absorbent layer from the plasterboard to the floor. So any water that's forming on the floor will be absorbed upwards, and you're supposed to always have a gap to stop that absorption. It will need to be dried out, and you need to do that with a dehumidifier and a fan. And all of these are calcium sulfate salts that are blistering, so it's a bit like salt that you get at the seaside, where you see the crystallization forming and erosion. Some erosion is caused by salts blistering, and that's what's happening here. It's just blistering under the paint. Nothing particularly to worry about, but this whole area needs to be dried out, and there's a good chance that condensation is a key ingredient in this. if it was just from the water table, then you would see an even layer of water the whole way across, and that's not what we're seeing here. So there's something happening here. It's damp now, but not down there. That's on the surface. You see how with this meter it's showing high levels there, but then further down it's normal levels. So it'd be good to see what's happening there on the other side. So that's pulling the data down.
Hang on, put my glasses on.
Yeah.
Right, so what you want me to do?
Press any of the green numbers to start with. So that's drawing the data. The data's held on the data loggers.
Logger.
And synchronizing it. It takes about a minute per week of data. So
Oh, that's good.
but and what I'm going to be getting you to do is send it to me in the first instance, and then this weekend if you can send me an update.
Yeah, I can do that.
And we're going to just try a few simple things to see whether don't worry about that. So just do an X, and then do the calculator sign top right. To that bit, yeah, and then export top right, and then bottom left export CSV, and then send it to myself, simon@dampsurveys.com on this.
Simon
at dampsurveys.com.
dampsurveys.com.
And then just press anywhere, and you get a blue arrow. And then you get the blue arrow, and just send it, and then do this okay, and then do back a few times.
Back and go back
Till
to
you go
the
back
other
to the
ones.
start. And this actually damp right at the bottom, but relatively dry there. I'm going to have a look at the data loggers and see what's happening on the data loggers, but so it's a period of over a week maybe. But so the dampness can come from 4 or more different sources, but the most common ones are, so you've got a well here, so it means that theoretically you could have rising damp, but it's very rare in London.
Yes.
So you have got table water, but it's within roughly 2 meters of the base of the wall, and water, that's about the limit of the height that water will rise to if it's sitting in groundwater. So I don't think that's what's causing it.
Right, so it's analysing.
Secondly, you've got mains water, but there's unlikely to be running there, and you would see it on other walls. You've got a risk of a penetrating damp, but it's an internal wall, so you're not going to get that.
Yes.
And then you've got using water to clean floors, which is a risk.
Mind you, there was a sofa there, so she wasn't getting up to the edge of the wall. She wasn't pulling it out.
But she might
When
have,
we moved the
got
sofa
in
out.
there.
No, there was a table. There was a table, more or less, where the plugs are, and it was one of these L-shaped sofas.
But then the other thing is that it could be just standard condensation. It's very common to have it. About 85% of the damp issues I go on have condensation as the primary.
Ventilation.
And the issue you've got is a large lump of metal on the other side. In summertime, is going to cause heat loss. In wintertime, you'll get heat gain.
Yeah.
But you've got the profile of damp is very uneven. It's not a straight across.
No.
And if that's the case, then it's very simple and very easy. And we'll know more by taking a 2-stage approach. So the one thing that I'm going to recommend that you get is one of these, which is a Dr. Meter damp meter. They're quite inexpensive. They cost about £20 and just start to measure the dampness over time.
If you send me a link to maybe what it's called, well, right.
It's Amazon. You'll get it, and
It's called
Dr. Meter.
Dr. Meter.
Yes, probably comes from China. Dr. Meter, moisture meter, and
Dr. Meter, moisture meter.
yes, it's got a ring to it.
It's £21.
Well, number two, to get a dehumidifier and run it, get a 20-litre dehumidifier. Miyako is quite a good brand, but the DeLonghi, there are plenty of good brands around.
20 litre.
20-litre capacity. If you
That sucks moisture out of the air.
that removes moisture from the air, and if you're, I would just run it 24/7 and
You plug them in.
just plug it in. And if you ever go away, if the property's empty, you should really have it sitting on the sink and dripping away.
Okay.
That may be one of the things. Do you, I mean, you obviously go away, but is the property empty for?
Rarely.
No, rarely.
There's always
Okay.
someone here.
Okay.
Julie's often here, or pick up Julie if the kids are here.
Then so you've got a source of moisture, vapor nearby.
Which is
Your dog.
the dog.
Yes,
Right.
Eddie.
Eddie, what was Eddie?
Eddie respires. Not quite as much as a human, but we all
She would
respire.
often sleep on the sofa. They used to be there. It was one of her favourite spots.
Oh well, there you go. So yeah, I mean, you know, that if there's a dehumidifier, that will reduce that. Drying clothes, try and dry it on in a dryer
And dry. Better
rather than open.
okay.
And if you do dry it in the open, just close the door maybe
Right.
so that it's going that direction.
To dehumidifiers. Wow, here we are. They're already here.
I would also trim the plaster back by about 1 centimetre, 10 mil, at the base of the wall. And I've got a trick, which is to use a solution called Dry Zone, and ignore what they say on the package, but just run a bead along the wall. I mean, you can get your painter to do that.
Right.
So that should the combination of all of those
Yes.
will.
So you think it's condensation, basically? Cool.
I think it's a combination of factors, but
Yes.
condensation is probably the primary.
Yeah. What did you say was good for dehumidifiers?
Miyako, MEACO. Dew point. Dew point is a measure of the amount of vapour in air. It's also the temperature where condensation takes place at. You're showing 9.9, which is as good as all the properties I've been to today. So you're the best of all the properties I've been to. So it's not.
So it's not a damp atmosphere.
It's not a particularly damp atmosphere. But the thing about lower ground floor areas is that it's not going to be ventilated at night. It's
No,
going to get
windows
quite
open.
cold at night. Your underfloor heating you won't use at night.
It
clearly.
switches off.
Do you have a separate zone system on your heating system? Do you?
In here,
Yeah,
there are 3 zones in the floor. That's one zone
yeah.
in the table area. This zone.
As an underfloor zone, but
Yes,
but
is
what
another
about
zone, and that's another zone.
but what about your radiator? At night, do you have the radiators on?
Well, the radiators go off. The heating goes off around 10,
Which is
and then it comes on about 6. I think.
okay. Which is normal,
But
but
we're a bit
careful.
careful with the heating.
Uh,
Julia says it's to save the planet.
Well,
I think it's to try and save money. So she's always turning the heating on.
Ah, yeah, but okay, dehumidifier, brilliant. So
Because I've told her sometimes when we go away, I say, look, you're going to leave the heating on, we can get damp. And she says, never mind. That wasted
right,
money.
right.
But we don't go away very often.
So dehumidifier, 5 good reasons for using it. So first one is that for every pound of energy you put
Yes.
into a dehumidifier, you get £1.50 of heat back because there's a release of energy from gas to liquid through enthalpy.
Okay.
So it's a bit like an air source heat pump,
Okay.
but it's localised. So
Are they
it's
noisy
not-
when you turn them on? Are they quiet?
no, we have one running 24/7, but you can have it.
Where should I put it? In here?
I would put it next to
Next to
the
the
damp
damp
area,
area,
yeah.
okay.
and run a fan as well. I mean initially, and then over time you don't need it. Second thing is that the dry or cold wet air feels colder than cold dry air.
Yes. Okay.
If you go to a ski resort,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel.
Doesn't feel so bad as London.
So you can reduce your energy consumption. You can lower
Okay,
your
alright.
carbon footprint by running a dehumidifier.
You've sold me.
Uh,
Should we have them elsewhere in the house?
Yeah, you can.
Or
Well, I
just
mean,
downstairs?
and so down in Cornwall, you'll see Cornwall sometime, but we have three
Okay.
basically. The other thing is a damp wall is a poor insulator, so you lose
Yes.
heat through a damp wall.
Yeah.
And then it's much cheaper to run a dehumidifier and just have a gentle amount of heat than to run any
No, I
heat
understand,
source
yeah.
during winter. So,
So,
and when you're going away. So there's a friend of mine that's got a place in Kerry, Ring of Kerry, and they used to.
sure, it rains the whole time over there.
It does. But they used to have a what are those low energy nighttime heaters,
Oh, yes.
and it cost them about £1,000 a year to heat it while they went there. And when they came back, it was always wet. It was always smelled musty. I got them to change to a dehumidifier, and they reduced their energy consumption by about 70%.
Wow.
And it was dry.
That's amazing.